Hello, you beautiful future nurses. This is Kaylee, the creator of the Nursing School is Fun Doodlebook and Study Guide. Today's video is about fluid and electrolytes. I'm going to show you how to fill out the study guide workbook, but also if you do not own this, that's fine. I'm going to show you what you can do for that too. So go ahead and grab as many colorful pens and markers as you desire, and your textbook also if you desire. Mine is the Medical Surgical Nursing Patient-Centered Collaborative Care, 8th edition by Ignatius and Workman. I will probably refer to this textbook as IGGY throughout the course of this video, so if you hear me say that, that is what I'm referring to as this textbook. So we are starting with the Fluid and Electrolytes section. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, and so at the beginning of every section of my workbook, I have this table, which I refer to as KAPCs. And that stands for Kill, Alter Life, and Patient Concerns or Professor's Choice. And you don't really need to own my book to write this down. I do recommend making some kind of overview page that if you are, about to take a test, you're standing outside the room, you could be, just looking at this one page of basically the main points. And I separate it into columns like this to help prioritize information based on importance and what we're going to do to save the patient. So we start off with the left of basically, this is like worst case scenario kill column. So what will kill a patient? So the first row of this column I have labeled kind of dead. So what I'm referring to here is, yes, it will kill a patient eventually, but it's not something that we need to call a response team for right now. So tissue or organ loss, yes, that will kill a patient eventually, but it's not something that we need to, they're dying right now. Whereas this section is the exact opposite of that. That is, they will die without intervention within our, 12-hour shift. So this is something where if you have a question and it is asking you to prioritize a nursing action, these are what you're going to be referring to. What's the most important thing to do? It's going to be prevent these worst case scenarios. So if we have a patient in one room who's experiencing one of these, but we have a patient in another room who's experiencing one of these, we're going to go and treat this one first. Even though this is terrible, we're still going to treat this one first because it's an emergency. All right, and then over to the next section, which is alter life. So these are going to be things that as a healthcare provider, we are looking at. So that's going to be fall risk in the hospitals. It's huge, and it is life altering. Pressure ulcer, same thing. Then we check that every shift. Nutrition therapy, yes, that is life altering. We need to talk to them and give them a lot of patient education about them. Especially in this chapter, fluid and electrolytes, that's pretty much going to be key. And then anything, treatment management about their treatment that is life altering, go ahead and put that here too. And then in our third column, just basically everything else that we think is important for this chapter. So it's labeled patient concerns and professor's choice. So any kind of example your professor gives you, any kind of story, or if they, go on forever about this topic, or they're really passionate about it, I would go ahead and put that here because if they're passionate about it, they're more likely to give you test questions about it, usually. Also, patient concerns. The best example I can give of this, there's a drug we always talk about in nursing school and for studying the NCLEX, and the most basically test-worthy part of this medication isn't about, what it does. It's about a random side effect that is a patient concern. And for that drug, its name is rifampin. You can look it up. It's going to probably end up in a later chapter. But the most testable part of this drug is the fact that its side effect gives the patient red pee. So rifampin, red pee. That's what I memorized for this drug. I would write that down under on this chapter because I know it's a testable subject. So even though it's not life-altering, it's not going to be harmful to the patient, it's a concern that they're going to be scared about and they're going to be calling their doctor about. And so we're going to go ahead and write that down because it's testable. So go ahead if you want to take a screenshot of this, that is fine. I'm going to move on in a second to our actual content. I am not going to fill out this information for you guys. I do think it is a good exercise for your brain to be thinking about this table and to fill it out on your own, but it should be your own individualized study guide of what you think is important, what you think your professor thought was important, and what you just want on your cheat sheet for standing outside that test classroom.